Our next speaker is architect Sumeru Roy Choudhury. Architect Sumeru Roy Choudhury, a graduate from IIT Kharagpur and PG certificate in housing and town planning from University of Nottingham, had an extensive career in CPWD and retired as Chief Architect, Eastern Region. He has been a member of building committees of various institutions, namely Vishwa Bharati, Shantiniketan, Government of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, National Council of Science Museums, RMRI Hospital, etc. He was also a Heritage Building Committee member of Kolkata Municipal Corporation. He will present us with an overview of architectural movement, starting from the genesis to the present date of this part of the country. Over to architect Sumeru Roy Choudhury.
Good evening, everyone. To the birthplace of the author and composer of a national anthem, Kavi Guru Rabindranath Thakur, his building at Jodhashako. You have already got a glimpse of it before. Now, going back, the architectural narrative of Bengal has for centuries been determined by the Bengal Delta, crisscrossed by rivers where clay has been the local material supported by bamboo and timber. Hence, we almost do not find any ruins of hundreds and thousand-year-old. Rulers have come and gone in those bygone days, but their building structure remains hardly found. Clay being the basic material here, sun-baked bricks and kiln-burnt terracotta were widely used, remains of which are found as temples in Bishnupur, Bankura, and some other places already discussed. It is only after the Industrial Revolution and coming of the British did buildings come up, many of which are lasting even today. Kolkata, being the capital city those days, got a better share of these structures. Being heritage conscious, though lately we have started preserving these creations. One such was CPWD possessed classical Greek style Metcalfe Hall, which as an ex-CPWD person I can say was passed on by CPWD to ASI for restoration. Incidentally, those days there was no statutory heritage committee or its like. Similarly, the currency building was also handed over, this is the old picture, over to the ASI. During these days, in the 19th century, local style grew up around religious buildings. Examples are the Poreshnath Jain temple and the Dakshineshwar temple. The Tipu Sultan Mosque in Tollygunge is another example that got the touch of preservation in recent years. Besides those, we have Chinese churches, Buddhist temples, and mott, which follow their own style of architecture. Post-colonial architecture took its time to gain shape. The advent of new technology saw multi-storied public buildings coming up. Multi-storied residential apartments was popularized by architect Professor Gopal Mitro at the end of the 1960s. The present-day apartments are now building into creative forms, each denoting the signature of the respective architects. Presented here are, spanning over decades, some of the post-independence and modern-day buildings dotting the city and nearby. Let us start off with the educational buildings. Soon after independence in 1951, Government of India established the first IIT at Kharagpur, which presented a majestic, ever-shining building. Kolkata-based BTM was the architect. Together with the IIT, we should mention the BE College building designed by Habibur Rahman, who incidentally at later date headed the architectural wing of CPWD. The other building to mention in this category is the Jadavpur University main building. While we are at the subject of education, we must value the planetarium building known as the Birla Planetarium and various buildings of the Science City which you have just now got a glimpse. One of the fine buildings that caught my attention in recent years in the academic complex at the IIT Kharagpur and the School of Management building in this same category. School buildings in no way can be left behind. One of them that needs to be highlighted is the New Town School. We start off with the institutional building now. To start off, we mention the Bisho Bangla Convention Center. This center makes the city a MICE tourism destination, which MICE means meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibition. It houses a mega convention center, exhibition halls including the state banquet and spacious pre-function areas, a garden food court linked to the exhibition halls and 2 auditoriums with its very own 4-star business hotel to facilitate the needs of the convention attendees. We also have an attractive building nearby which is known as the Wax Museum and the Finance Center. CPWD traditionally has been pioneer in public buildings. Some of the striking buildings are the Customs and Central Excise building on Rajbihari Connector, the Geological Survey of India Office Cup Lab building at Salt Lake, and another GSI building, the multi-storied stores building, that too at Salt Lake. And one designed some 15 years back is the HITCO building in Newtown. The BioWonder is a unique building of its own kind which may need detailed elaboration. The PricewaterhouseCoopers office building of 2006, located in the IT sector, its uniqueness is the integration of the open spaces at different levels to the various activity areas. Among the commercial buildings, perhaps the first mall in eastern India was the Metro Plaza, built in 1997. It introduced the atrium floor pattern and space frame ceiling. The exterior facade treatment involves using rainwater pipe as a design element. Highlighted here are the South City Mall and the Acropolis Mall that came up much later. Our twin city Howrah is not far behind. Aurobindo Mall with rooftop parking was built just recently on an existing bustling market without disturbing their daily activities. The Topsail Toyota flagship showroom was created by the architect in a pure pristine form with bold scooped out mass, giving an impression of a mechanistic structure. Among the community buildings, the Gallery House at Banchberia draws everyone's attention. The building's shape, form and texture was inspired by the terracotta temple works mentioned before. Exposed brickwork with ceramic inserts define the character of the building. Coming to the recreational buildings, Mahajati Sadhan is the first I should mention. Though the building was inaugurated in 1958 by the then Chief Minister Bidhan Chandra Rai on 19th August 1958, Rabindranath Tagore laid the foundation exactly 19 years before, on 19th August 1939. The Sadhan was conceptualized by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, as already told to you. It was to play an important part in India's freedom movement. Besides that, the notable public buildings are the Rabindra Sadhan, very near to this place, and Nandan Complex, known to every cultural buff of the city. Together, I cannot forget to mention the Heritage Plaza at Shabhumi. Coming to sports, we have our own Eden Gardens, which at intervals has been upgraded. Next to that, the Netaji Indoor Stadium, built in 1975. On the other side of the city, we have the Salt Lake Stadium with a capacity of 120,000, and next to that, the Sports Authority Complex, first part of which was built by the state in 1979. Again, in the city of Howrah, came up the Dumurjala Indoor Stadium by nearly doubling the seating capacity of an existing dilapidated indoor stadium. In the hospitality sector, we have the low risers such as the Ganga Kutir at Raichok, where tranquility blends with the water body around, and the other one being the Amar Bari at Shantiniketan, where the architect is inspired by the heritage of the area, exemplifying vernacular architecture. Exposed brickwork, detailed arches, and corbelling pillars and fenestrations, niches are neatly interwoven. On the other end, we have the luxury living multi-storied structures built as ITC Royal Bengal, I think name. On the residential side, we have innumerable bungalows. One such being the one shown here, which has an abstract form with angular elements and juxtaposing of solid and void, which contributes to its contemporary appeal. And on the other hand, we have the forum atmosphere luxury apartments consisting of 2 towers and an interconnecting floating deck at 500 feet above ground. We also have the Highland Park apartments consisting of 9 towers ranging from 18 to 27 stories each, and the South City apartments. In this sector, CPWD also has its notable contribution with 6 16-storied apartments constructed way back in 1975, and among others, the income tax quarters on Eastern Metropolitan Bypass. We will be doing injustice if we ignore the recent marvel 62-storied, 260-meter high, the 42, Kolkata's tallest building as of now, just opposite the Maidan. Among the religious buildings, we have Birla Mandir, opened in 1996, and built quite recently the Swaminarayan Temple, as well as the national award-winning Don Bosco Church at Kollani. Among the conservation work, I have with me Minerva Theatre, which in 2008 was revitalized after fire damaged the theatre, the Star Theatre, and the Great Eastern Hotel revitalization. 2 small structures which also should be appreciated are the tea kiosks and the aluminum cased steel structure glass house at the Botanical Gardens, the latter designed by CPWD 40 years ago. And when we are talking about Kolkata, who would like to miss, which you have already seen, the eye-catching gateway to the city from airport side, the Bishwa Bangla Gate, unparalleled in the state. Before I thank everyone, I would like to thank architects Prabir Mitro, who unfortunately is no more with us, and Sri Dulal Mukherjee, who for around last 55 years have enriched the built environment of the state, towering over all successful architects, and enabled us to contribute to the Azadi Mahotsav. Hope you are enjoying the evening. Thank you.